Back-to-back episodes today. I get amazing people that I get to interview and meet. If you are watching this, you are watching the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Hey, make sure and hit the subscribe, share, like, or comment button. And if you actually make some comments or ask a question, we might be able to answer it here on the air. If you want to see more episodes just like this, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online and see all the episodes, plus a new episode every Wednesday. And I hope that you'll come and join me for the Engaging Conference, October 1, 2, and 3. And this will be the first year that we're going hybrid. You can either meet us here in Seattle, have a beautiful Zoom seat from wherever you are in the world, or pick one of our free seats and watch it on YouTube. It will be the most engaging hybrid that you have ever seen. Now, we got our next guest here. She's a sales strategist, coach, and speaker, specializing in helping business owners close sales quickly. She's got a lot of sales experience, and we got to hang out in San Francisco just a week or so ago as part of my 4-city, 17-day tour. Let's welcome to the stage the one and only Jackie Wu. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, John. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be on your podcast.
You're welcome. And so how are you doing since I last saw you? I would love to hear like something good in your life.
I'm doing very well. It is wonderful. I just complete the virtual retreat with the Hall of Fame speaker, Mark LeBlanc. And now I come back with refreshed and ready to take on the world.
That's right. I know of Mark. I've never been in his program, so it's interesting. What's one insight you're really taking back from your time inside of his mastermind?
One important thing I took back from his virtual retreat is he mentioned how important virtual meeting is from now moving forward. So that is one of his main focus, and say, wow, that is a eye-opening experience to see, especially he has more than 40 years in business and as a speaker.
Why did he say virtual was so important? What was the unique factor that says it's more important than, say, in person or some other vehicle?
He said that because the virtual meeting will offer the opportunity to interact with the client, the coachee around the globe. Because not always that the coachee or the client will be able to meet face to face, and therefore virtual is the best way.
Oh, interesting. So I mean, you really can open up yourselves not just to the regional, but now literally to the world, including other countries. And I think as a speaker, then again, you can increase the size of your audience by a factor of 10 or more. That can make you more successful, especially if you have mastered the format. Speaking of mastering the format, Jackie, take a moment for my friends who don't know you to introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Thank you, John. So I am Jackie Wu, and I am a sales strategist, a coach, and speaker. And my passion, my mission is to help business owners to close sales quickly and successfully so they can bring in the revenue to grow their business and also why they create impacts to the world. Besides that, I am also passionate to empowering individuals to overcome their self-limiting belief so they can build solid, lifelong confidence to achieve their life goal. And because of my over 20 years of experience that I start my career as in Stanford University as human resources. And then after that, I advanced to work in many of the 500 companies as a sales enterprise professional. When I start my coaching business because of the pandemic, that my mom in her late 80s would like me to be with her because in a sense she had experienced losing memory. And due to my extensive knowledge in the sales globe, in less than 1 year when I launched my business, I be able to have fully booked business and long waiting list of the client across all continents. And I would not been able to do it without the virtual meeting because most of my clients, I would say 99% of my clients are across the world in different continent, different country, and rarely we meet in person face to face. Therefore, this topic is really close to my heart. I'm sorry, John. Somehow I could not hear you. I'm not sure if you're mute or something. If you'd be so kind to repeat what you said.
Oh, I just wanted to, make sure and see how much body language that you could actually read off of this. So one of the keys here at that, and those are all the different ways that we can communicate here on virtual. One of the things I was looking for is what has to happen for you when you're like in Mark's program or some other's program. What has to happen for you, for Jackie Wu, to feel engaged inside of a virtual program? One of them is having the mic work.
For sure, that is the main element. Otherwise, we will communicate in a whole different way of life. So, for me, what has to happen for a virtual meeting to be engaging is first of all, the host need to be able to understand the virtual platform they are in and be able to use it well.
Mm-hmm.
Be it a Zoom or Google Meet. And because each platform have their own little function that one need to master it. And if they are not familiar with it, I truly recommend them to join your program, the virtual meeting. No, you don't pay me to say it, John. I've never met you before. The last week we met in San Francisco, but I went through many of the virtual section from the National Speaker Association.
Mm-hmm.
That you have been very kind to help us for no charge, and I can see how masterful you are in there. And so definitely for me, the whole need to know and be able to understand the platform. The second thing is the host need to be prepared to really engage in the conversation, not just listen in order to answer the question, but deeply engaging, listening, and go with the flow with the audience. And the third one, yes, the third one, it would be nice if also the participant will be, in a sense, prepared ahead by the host, right? Like what type of platform, how are they going to perform in there, and also a little bit trick like the trick that you show us how to use the virtual meeting that would really put the audience at ease, and then both parties would have an interesting conversation virtually.
Yes, so I think what I heard you say is know the platform, right? Be able to use the tools on the platform. So there's nothing worse than having a presenter fumble on stage. But I just want to show, all right, Jackie, I'll just admit, even though I have 38 years of experience online, there are times when, like this, I can still get caught on mute, and I want to make sure people hear that it's not your fault, right? Because the technology is still not built in a way for us to get all the cues right. And you can reduce the odds of that happening by practice, by knowing that platform and knowing, that those are lots of different checks. It's usually when I do something different, right? So Jackie, here's the behind the scenes, right? I'm trying to eat breakfast a little bit this morning. I haven't had a lot of breakfast, so I went off camera and I didn't want you to hear this, right? Listen, right? So
Wow.
that's what you would hear. So now watch, I can hit mute. Now I have to remember to turn on before I get back on the stage, right? And so I don't normally eat during an interview, but right, today's a little necessary. So I just want to show some behind the scenes of like how you really got to double and triple check things. Like it's kind of like in a live program. You always want to triple check your microphone before you go to the restroom so something embarrassing doesn't happen. All right, Jackie? But I want to add on to this other thing that you said. I think it's so important. I just talked about it in this last course. I was with Lux Narayan and the group, the company Stream Alive. And one of the things that I recognize that I do is that a lot of my show is improv, meaning that I need to go with the flow of the program, and so I don't know. Yeah, do you have some examples of some other presenters who are going with the flow? I'll give my short example while you think of yours, which is I go with the flow because I think one of the things that happens is that means I'm responding immediately to you, the audience, right? And I'd say the second belief, I really have a strong belief. I want this meeting to be different because you, Jackie, are here, right? And when you know that you can influence the direction of the meeting, then you become engaged, going, "Oh, well, John or Mark or whoever your presenter is listening to me, acknowledging what I want, and maybe adding and giving me information." So, what are some other examples you have of other presenters who go with the flow?
That is a very interesting question. I have been participating in many of the speaker, and I probably has to say really go with the flow, probably with the one I just complete, the virtual retreat,
Yeah,
because it's in a very personal
yeah,
manner. So a lot of time the speaker Mark LePlank have to really just let go of his own agenda in
yes.
order to go with the flow with the audience. And on virtual is quite challenging because we don't see the entire body language, right? We only see from the middle and up. And a lot of this surrounding, each of the individual different surrounding. So I really think that he paid close attention and he saw the benefit of the virtual meeting. He
Mhm.
actually had the masterful skills to handle it. And I think that as far as for going to the flow, many of the speaker that I listen to, I am a member of the National Speaker Association, and I know that in your Northwest chapter, along with my Northern California chapter, we also have many of the speaker talk. And I think one of the most recent one, beside our chapter, is one in the Austin, Texas chapter. I think his name is Jeff Mueller, if I remember it correctly.
Mhm.
He really have a very good virtual stage present. He really engaged, like you, very engaged, and
Yes.
make the conversation really exciting. And he make it fun, he make it memorable, and he stick to the point.
Hmm. So, yeah, one of the things that I had here is like in the go with the flow too. I think you'll find this funny. We had a retreat and it was on a private island called Painkil. And one of the funny sayings that came out is that it's not about the message, it's about the massage. And
Okay.
the funny thing that happened, there were like 20 different coaches and business owners. And one, we were so excited when we got on the island that we had to explore everything. And number two is that they had two massage therapists who were on the island,
Mm,
and they were extraordinary. And so, like everybody just wanted to get a massage. And so, the organizers of their event had to kind of throw out the initial part of their agenda because they came back and says it's not about the message, it's about massage. It's saying they recognize what the needs of what their group are, as opposed to trying to hold people to this agenda that didn't really want to follow. So
mm.
I'm curious, in your programs, Jackie, how do you design your programs to engage people and go with the flow?
Oh, thank you for the question. And so for me, because of the way that I schedule my program, especially in helping the new and engaging business owner to really quickly to convert the list to become paying client. A lot of time, certain of the sales process, I am familiar with it. I will have to really take it aside and slow it down.
Hmm.
And then you see, like, because of my background, I come from many of the Fortune 500 company, and usually
Yeah.
our sale revenue is about 42 billion annual sale. So the sale process I'm familiar with very fast, very intense, right? And now, when I help the business owner around the globe to build a very first sale process, I have to take into their personality, their strength, their weakness to build the sale process that fit them like a glove. So when they offer their service or products to the consumer, it sounds natural and like offer a gift that they cannot refuse to sign the contract. And because of that, it takes a lot of I have to really go with what my client business owner
Yeah.
take at that moment and just go with the flow and build it and engage with them very deeply in order to have the good result that they're looking for.
Now, you've worked with some big brands, including, I think some of our guests would love to know that you worked with Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
How is the sales process, or what are some unique aspects of the sales process that you use to sell a high-end brand such as Louis Vuitton?
Definitely. Thank you for asking, John. So when I work with the Tiffany Louis Vuitton, the sale process in there is quite traditional at the time, just for the past during the pandemic time. Basically, the sale process is when the client coming into the door, then we introduce the product, ask for the client what that they're looking for. Is that an engagement ring, a piece of jewelry for the anniversary or the special occasion? And from there, then we be able to match what the product, the item that we have for their need. And then after that, be able to educate them on what's the difference between the Tiffany Louis Vuitton brand compared to the other. And after that, we'll be able to close the sale. And for me, when I step into the Tiffany Louis Vuitton world, that process is a little bit quite slow for me. Because if we were to take the client from the beginning to the end with so many steps, like about like 10 to 15 steps, usually let's say if a piece of jewelry, the high-end jewelry for 100,000 and up, right? It probably would take the salesperson maybe about at least 2 to like 12 years in order to close that particular opportunity to sell. And so therefore I ask and I get approved to bring in a new sale process. What I do as what you do right now in the virtual meeting, John. I believe that at the beginning, engage with the client deeply, not to educate them, engage with them, get to know what they really want. Do they have a need for it or wants? Because if there's a want, that's not going to be able to get it quickly, right? If there's a need, are they going to be the decision maker for this particular opportunity? And are they going to have the fun at these times to go for it? And that is one of the elements that I help business owners to understand. Is not just go out there and find the lead. What is the point of finding 1,000 leads and not be able to close one or two of them? And just I believe that for the business to grow, the possibility for the business owner to be able to convert the opportunity to become a paid client as quick as possible is the best way to thrive and to really have a successful business. And that help I come in using your strategy, engage them, go with the flow, build a customized sales process so they get to know themselves well, so they will overcome the imposter syndrome when they offer their product, and just go out there and help the client and then close the sale and create impact and bring in revenue.
Now, it sounds simple, although I think you're saying that a lot of sales processes don't start with the simple question, what do you want? Right? Sometimes they jump into, here are all my features and benefits and blah, blah, blah. And you have no idea how they connect to a client's part. Are you saying that's like one of your core pieces, your core secrets of your success is just taking that time to really understand the problem and then craft a better solution for them?
Yeah, that is one of the core, and I believe that the core before that is the business owner. They need to really know their strength and weakness before they step out there to offer their service and the product, because for all business owner, we are not one size fit all, right?
Hmm.
Think about it. If I were to go shopping and you
Yeah,
were to go shopping, we shop in different brand, different
yeah,
size, right?
yeah.
Different style. So for the business owner, they serve different client. And so when I coach or mentor my client, the business owner, I always start what do they passionate about, what do they want to do in their business. Is it to help others to have a better life? Is it going to wrong the mistake in the past that happened to them to make the world a better place? And from there I will help my client to find out who are their avatar, who are their ideal client, because if they don't have the right ideal client, then they are not going to resonate. Like you, right, John, in for your program is a virtual meeting. It have to be the prospect enjoy doing meeting virtually. There's
Right.
no point to go someone that insists to meet in person. Then your service probably would not really resonate with them, right?
Hmm.
And then after that I will help them to build a sales process that based on their strength and their weakness, right? Do they like to meet with the client that in certain demographic, certain age,
Hmm.
certain group, certain profession? Where would their client hang out? Are they hanging out in LinkedIn, in Facebook, in some other mean, in a publication? And then also I will help them to build in a sense like maybe a 2 minutes of their bio quickly. So when they talk with any stranger, any of the prospect, they be able to convey their message quickly and be able to win other people's heart after they qualify that opportunity.
So, what do you think is the top strategy that or changes that you're seeing for 2024? You know, if you had to characterize like one trend or strategy that you think is going to be very, very successful in 2024, what would that be for you, Jackie?
Mm. I would think that for the 2024, I think that two strategy actually. One is your strategy engaging, very important. It's not only for 2024, but it has always been, right?
Forever.
From here and beyond, right? And then that's the first one. And I believe the second one is authenticity is important. We all just got out of the pandemic, not really shake it off, but just got out of it to have the human interaction, not human doing, but human being is important. Get to know your other fellow human being. Sincerely have the heart to help each other for a better way of life. I think that's critical.
Connection, right?
Mm,
Connection.
mm,
Speaking of connection, too, we formed this connection. Jackie was able to help me be one of the early founders of API Plus NSA for Asian Pacific Islander. Plus is for our allies and other people to be included there. And again, NSA is National Speakers Association. And Jackie, I don't know if you saw my post, but in the Thrive Winter Workshop, it was the first time that there is an API Plus NSA ribbon, and it just hit me in the heart to say what a big moment that was. It was 50 years in the making, and NSA is 50 years old, and Asian Pacific Islander speakers often say, "I'm the only one, and where is everybody else?" So I would love to I would love to hear and have you share what's it like to be an Asian Pacific Islander speaker, and especially a woman Asian Pacific Islander speaker here in America.
mm. First of all, thank you very much, John, to showcase the API in Thrive is long overdue. And thanks to you, is finally can see the light of the day. And so actually yesterday, I connect with the Hawaii. National Speaker Association, and it's there for the East Asian Pacific Islands there, and we
Right.
talked about your event. And so, for me personally, to be a speaker, a woman of color in speaker, it is critical because, as you know, in our country, it is very diverse. It's come from different background, different races, different walk of life, and I comes to realize that many of us were not born and raised in the Caucasian culture in a sense, and the country have opened the hand and then give us to have a second chance in life.
Yeah.
Now that after many years of me making it here, I think that I would like to share my journey of how that I came from a decade of long war-torn country, just like Vietnam, suffer from the hands of the dangerous and then suppressive communists to come to America. And after 20 years of working non-stop around the clock, I finally make it on the side, have the privilege to work on one of the best university of the world in Stanford University, to
Stanford.
work with
Yeah.
to work with many of the unique companies, the Fortune 500. It's a journey, so many lessons, so many of the pearl of the wisdom I learned from my mentor. I learned from my friend like you. I learned from many of the people make it, and I would really like to share it and to help others to be able to achieve their goal without having to go through trial, error, disappointment, and suffering. Because I
Suffering.
truly wish when I first come to this country, more like 30 years ago, somebody extend their hand, then I wouldn't have to suffer of my first 20 years in here.
Yeah.
And I think 20 more years of happiness is priceless, John.
Mm.
And therefore, now that I make it, I am on the mission to help others to achieve their dream goal and have 20 more years of happiness sooner than me.
Well, beautiful, Jackie. Appreciate that, and it kind of leads to what my friend, he has a coffee cup now that says representation matters.
Yes.
And right, the average in America is 6.5% Asian Pacific Islander, with some of the coast cities as high as 15, 16%. And there are some counties in LA that are over 50% Asian Pacific Islander. So
Yes.
one of the key steps that we tell people that we've developed over the past years is, one, when you nominate people for our awards, consider who might be an Asian Pacific Islander that deserves that award. And the second one is, go through your conference. When you go and you finally get the schedule for a conference, look through the speakers and see, are there, for 100 speakers, are there 6.5 Asian Pacific Islanders or so in there? And if there's zero, speak up and do something. And that's some of the things that we're doing now in terms of that. And what else is that? We actually held that. So at Thrive, I can share with you. Thrive is again the winter conference for National Speakers Association. We had the first API dinner with allies, and it was. And if you didn't see it online too, because we had so many people, like this is what happens when you work together, Jackie. Is that we got the large 82-piece sushi boat. It was
Wow.
enormous,
That's
and it was
amazing. Yes, yes, yes.
I want to give a shout out to TK who like repeatedly had to tell me. She goes, Don, I'm so glad you organized this because TK, although she's one of our Caucasian allies, said that her husband doesn't really eat fish, so she only gets to go out to sushi every so often. And so she looked at this one case, and of course she said, I would never be able to order an 82-piece sushi boat, and that she just enjoyed the night so much, and we got a chance to all get to know each other. And what was funny too, I wish you were there, Jackie, because I made the prompt. Since Thrive is often a workshop where speakers work on their business, every single person shared who they are, what do they do, and what was one of their what's, let's say, sales or marketing tip that worked for them. And I think you would have loved all the stories with all your sales piece inside of there. Let's take a moment to look at the future, Jackie. So what do you think is the future of selling on virtual? I'd love to hear, like, where do you think we're going to be like 10 or 20 years from now, as people learn how to sell more on virtual?
Yes, I think that is it critical to sell on virtual because as you know, our customer now is across the globe in different continents. Usually it's very hard for people get together face to face, right? Selling virtual give us not only the opportunity to reach the client internationally, but help us to really provides the service to the people with all walk of life, right?
Yeah.
Internet will be accessible easier in many countries. And I know that we in North America, in a sense, we live in privileged world, right? Travel is easy, we can go. But for many countries, travel is not that accessible. It's sometimes it is restricted by the government also, right?
Mm.
So selling virtual is one of the way that just penetrate everything, make it free for us to join. And then also it is one of the most cost effective engaging way for people to build connection
Yeah.
because if people have to have face-to-face meeting, we really lost a big jump of really from the selling perspective.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we have the what we affectionately call the speed round here. So, Jackie, I know you love to be very thoughtful, and we're going to give you a number of questions where I'd love for you to just answer them with the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yes,
Favorite food?
Thai food.
Ooh, very good. Favorite restaurant you've ever eaten at?
I have to say the Thai Ron restaurant in Fremont City, the
Oh,
number one in the world for me.
I haven't been there, so I hope you'll take me there.
Next time you come to Silicon Valley, I take you there.
Okay. Favorite country outside of the United States?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Oh, why Switzerland?
I traveled there various times and I love the way of life. It is very peaceful, it's beautiful, it's green, and the people are very polite and helpful to the tourists.
Beautiful. Favorite Asian Pacific Islander, famous person or leader?
Ooh, that's hard to answer, John.
Sounds
I
very
am
good.
going to be subjective. I came from Hawaii,
Yeah.
and I think Hawaii is the best there is.
Well, that's certainly a leader in the best place in the world. Okay. Favorite dancer?
Favorite dancer? So many of them. I would have a hard time to choose, John. So if I can pass that because I have many of my favorite.
How about favorite style of dance? Maybe popular or traditional? Do you have a favorite style of dance?
Um, I am more into classical.
Yeah.
So I like probably one of the dance I would say again is the Hawaiian hula dance. It's just my
Oh,
homeland and I love it.
yeah.
So
There's a lot to love about hula. So expressive. Okay. Your favorite speaker that is not you?
my favorite speaker, that's not me. I would say that is President Obama.
Oh, yeah. He's great. One of the greatest orators of all time.
Mhm.
Favorite book that you've read?
Favorite book that I read is the biography of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple.
Somebody just held it up in my last meeting. That's how good it is. That's great.
Yep, yep.
What's your wish for 2024?
That everyone would have a fulfilling career and life because life is too short to not live that way.
Oh, well, thank you, Jackie. If you could get people to remember one thing, Jackie, from this interview, what would that be?
That would be engaging for sure.
Engage. That's right. Ready? Wait, I have this here. Wait, watch this. This is Captain Kirk saying, or Captain Picard saying engage. And now look, we can warp somewhere.
Yeah, definitely, right? With the speed of 10, right? Just like warp 10.
Exactly. Well, Jackie, well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing some of your really valuable sales knowledge. If you want to increase sales, look Jackie up at treasurelifesjourney.com. Jackie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Jackie. You know, one thing to learn from Jackie is connect. Think about how you can engage with your clients, whoever they are. Find out what they really want. And then find out how to get them that solution, even if it's not you. I'm John Chen. I'm here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Make sure and subscribe, share, like, or comment if you're watching us. Shout out to Philip Jones of Lakewood Media and Training Magazine. Philip, thank you always for your support. You want more podcasting? Go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. Subscribe on any of the 13 platforms where you love to listen to podcasts. And I hope to see you at the Engaging Conference, October 1, 2, and 3 in 2024. This will be the first year we're going hybrid. You can come meet us in person here in Seattle, tune in on Zoom, or check out one of our free tickets on our YouTube channel, because we just are on a mission to get all of our meetings, whether they are virtual, hybrid, or in person, to be engaging. Thank you again, Jackie Wu, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Drawing star people and keep